Meaningwave life, it is the best, yeah. Again. What? Stand up straight, stand up straight, stand up straight, with your shoulders back. Stand up straight, stand up straight. Great day, woo! Yo, welcome brothers and sisters to the Meaning Stream. I am your host, Akira the Don, architect of the Meaningwave universe, artist, wave lord, and architect of the VNYL universe. I gotta turn that into a little spiel, you know? Let me work on that. I'm gonna go away and work on that. I'll come back next week. That's what we've been missing, you know? The Meaningwave game has been missing a real proper, you know, spew with the name, you know? Either way, you already know what time it is. It's Meaning O'Clock. It's Dawn O'Clock. It's Let's Get It O'Clock. Let's get after it o'clock.
Get after it.
It's o'clock. That's right, baby. You're locked in live to a very special Meaningwave Live. All
Akira.
All special. That's right. All Meaningwave, all live, all bucko. I'm feeling so bucko right now. Yo. My beautiful wife, she was like, isn't it crazy? She's like, you went all last year with no Jordan B. Peterson Meaningwave release at all. And then suddenly it's 2021 and there's just a ton of them. And it's true. I mean, we got a whole new album, 17 tracks. We're dropping a new music video every day right now. I just developed a really cool new technique for tomorrow's music video. I'm quite excited about that. Hey, cool technique. Shouts out to Cool Techniques. But, you know, good things, all good things, what do they do? What happens with good things? What's the saying? Good things come to those who wait. And nothing lasts forever, even cold November rain. Bucko-rama, Cindy Bailey, that's right. Stand up straight. And yeah, all good things must come to an end. And I told you, you know, January was Jbpwave season. We're nearly out of January. We're nearly out of January. 6 days of January remain. That's all, just 6 days of January. 6 days of January remain. I think, or is it 5? And that means that amount of days remains on our campaign. That means there's that many days of Jbpwave season left. That many days left to claim your vinyl. Let me do a refresh on this and see where we are. I honestly, by the way, I do not know if the last day is Sunday or Monday. I think it's Sunday. It's hard to tell. Let's see where we're at. Oh shoot, 6 days left! 6 days left. We're on $36,840. That means we are but $160 away from our 37 grand stretch goal, at which point we'll be able to get an orchestra on a second track on the album. And we are but $2,000 and a little bit dollars away from our stretch goal of $39K to get Jbpwave 4 turned into an album. By Jove! By the way, flash contest. I'm gonna give flash contest. I'm gonna give away a t-shirt to the person who can correctly identify the amount of Jbpwave songs that exist. Or should I say the amount of Jbpwave songs that are in my... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's going to be difficult to do. Oh, no, it isn't. Ha ha ha. I'm so funny. What was I going to say? How many Jordan B. Peterson songs have we got? How many Jbpwave songs? How many Akira the Don and Jordan B. Peterson songs are in existence in the public domain of you being able to listen to, download on platforms and streaming things. First person to get the right number or closest to the right number before arbitrary number. I kind of bugged this little flash contest up, didn't I? I've never done a flash contest before. I didn't know that you had to be completely prepared. And I didn't know that I had instrumentals also in my crate of JBP songs in my DJ library. Fool Killer says 58. Jules Vaughan says 117. Walking More Poet says 83. Zach Sasser says 42. 53. 52. Someone's probably smart and has worked out how to know the answer. No. I'm gonna call it now. Teen Success says 200. Mike Better says 87. Cindy Bailey says 62. Mason says potential is infinite. Jules Vaughan says 117. National Phenomenon says the answer is 148. No, you're ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. You're all wrong, but someone came very close. The actual answer is 84. 84. It's not that many. You say, not that many. 84. Walking More Poet was the closest. Walking More Poet. Hit up YouTube Hero Alex. Actually, no, hit us up. Who's the easiest? Yeah. Email us at wecare@meaningwave.com. Walking More Poet and claim your prize. Send us your measurements and address, and we will send you your t-shirt. By Jove. Hurrah! We have a winner. Yeah, so there you go. So there's 84 songs. 84. Should be more. Should be more. Will be more. We have confirmed that one more album minimum is being made this year. Jbpwave 3 will be turned into an album. That's another 15 to 20 tracks. We're very close to getting Jbpwave 4 unlocked. That will be another 15 to 20. And then we got 5 and 6. If we can get those done, that will be roughly, what's 15 to 20 times 4? What's 20 times 4? That's probably in the region of 60 to 80. 60 to 80 Jordan B. Peterson and Akira the Don songs this year. Potentially. That's the potential that exists. Well, you say that, but then, oh, bloody hell, we've been doing these biblical lectures, you know, and each one of those seems to be at least an album. And then today, your boy puts out a podcast with Douglas Murray, and like, I'm halfway through that, and I've already spotted 3 bangers. Yo. Rick Addlesey, what's cracking, baby? Says, if you're taking requests, be a plumber. I got you, baby. Natural Phenomenon says, Wave Lord, I beg thee, play something from Jbpwave 5 to get me pumped for this crazy trial the universe has sent before me that starts today. God bless Akira the Don. Well, I think he did. He blessed me with your presence. However, I cannot grant your wish because Jbpwave 5 is a mix and it's just one big long mix thing, and I don't have it, you know, converted into anything I can play in this kind of format. That's why we need to turn these mixes into albums, like we did with 1 and 2, which became Father and Aesthetic, and now those are songs, you know, those are songs with choruses and things, and I can play them. The Jbpwave 5 is a mix, but, you know, I believe in this community. I believe in the Meaningwave Autonomous Zone, and I do believe with 6 days left to go, I think we can get these records made into albums, by Jove. With orchestras! With orchestras! Do you believe this to be the case, Meaningwave Autonomous Zone? I ask you this question today for the International High Five. I ask you this question. Where on God's green earth are you? Do you believe in the power of the Meaningwave Autonomous Zone, by Jove? On a scale of 1 to bucko. Where did that come from? Why have I suddenly saying all the time? Down. Come on. Walking More Power, what's up? Gang in the house, what's up? Nightbot, what's up? YouTube Hero Alice, what's up? Joe Petrakovich, what's up? Says, watching this during my kettlebell workout instead of my usual Goggins and Jocko tracks. Well, this is hype. We are in a hype mood. Vibes on a billion. Vibes on a billion tonight. However, we gonna take it back, baby. We gonna take it right back to where it all started. Rick Adelcy asked us to, and shit, who are we? Who are we to deny? Mike Betters says, I believe, Bucko. Mike Betters, you were so close to being that t-shirt winner by Jove. You were so close. National Phenomenon, Houston, Texas. Maz levels up, Bucko. Rick Adelcy, Manchester, UK. On a scale of 1 to Bucko, I believe in the transcendent nature of Meaningwave. It exists. Century Tej, Phillips in the basement. Yes, Full Killer Maryland. I believe in to astronomical levels like Buck Rogers. Bucko Rogers. Bucko Rogers. That's good. Robert Easy, Chicago, 10 Buckos out of 10. Chris Champagne, Massachusetts, I came to believe. Walkmore Park, Virginia, on a scale of 1 to Bucko, the answer is ducking absolutely. Savage Chill, Massachusetts, verily Bucko, thou doth know the power of the Meaningwave universe. Mirror members time, Virginia Beach, Virginia, yes, I believe in the Meaningwave Autonomous Zone, and Rosie is living proof of the power that MAZ can provide. God bless that truffle sniffing dog. Consigned to death and not dead. Not dead but alive, the Defy Bay Area. Yes, all the way to glorifying all ancestors to perpetuity. Miss Superconductor says, Bucko to the Bucko. Dan D in the place to be. Thanks, Akira, who's glad to see JBP back making waves. Yo, I gotta say, baby, that podcast today was such a good feeling. To see the good doctor fire on all cylinders. Hairline on 1,000,009. Complexion glowing. Presence, illumination. Mental faculties, pume. Full blown pume. What's up, Jules Vaughn says dinner in the dawn. God bless you. I feel good about the present, and I feel good about the future, and I feel good about the Meaningwave Autonomous Zone by Jove. What about History with the Hellbits that I loved? The last album. You mean the one that came out on Friday? What was I telling you about time? Time. I told you by Monday it'll be like, oh, that album came out ages ago. 3, 2, 1.
We need to know who the competent people are, and we need to reward them. And even more importantly, we need to tell young people, hey, there's some hierarchies of competence out there. Like 1,000 of them. Go be a plumber, man. But be a good one, you know? Be an honest one. Because otherwise all you do is go out there and cause trouble. We don't need people to cause more trouble. We need people to solve problems.
Solve problems.
Solve problems. We need people to solve problems. Solve problems. Solve problems. We don't need people to cause more trouble. We need people to solve problems.
Solve problems.
Solve problems. Go be a plumber, man. Go be a plumber, man. Be a good one, you know? Tradesman, and you can make a lot of money as a tradesperson. It's a bloody, reliable, honorable, forthright, productive way of making a living.
Way of making a living.
And there is a hell of a lot of difference between a working man who knows what he's doing and one who doesn't. Both in terms of skill and ethics, right? And you work with someone who knows what they're doing, it's a bloody pleasure. They tell you what they're going to do. They tell you how much it will cost. They go and do it, it works, and you pay them. Perfect. Everyone's happy. And that's what happens when you have genuine hierarchies of competence.
Wow. It's just like, where am I? I can't see me. people to solve problems. Yo, taking it back, baby. The very first Akira the Don and Jordan B. Peterson song.
Be a plumber, man.
The very first Meaningwave song. 2017's Be a Plumber.
Be a plumber, man.
Wow.
Go be a plumber, man.
Be a good one, you know?
Be a good one, you know? Be a good one, you know?
Take it back. Take it all the way back, baby.
I'm quite enamored of lobsters, as some of you might know, because I found out. This just blew me away when I found it out. Just exactly how much continuity there was in the neurochemistry of human beings and the neurochemistry of animals. It's absolutely staggering. It's the sort of thing that makes the fact of evolution something like self-evident. Random mutation and natural selection is the only way you can solve the problem of how to deal with an environment that's complex beyond your ability to comprehend. You generate endless variants because God only knows what the hell's going to happen next. Almost all of them die because they're failures, and a couple propagate. And the environment keeps moving around like a giant snake. You know what it's going to do next. And so the best you can do is say, well, here's 30 things that might work, and 28 of them are going to perish. Anyways, back to the lobsters. 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 So these creatures engage in dominance disputes, so it really is the toughest lobster that is. And what's so cool about the lobster is that when a lobster wins, he flexes and gets bigger, so he looks bigger because he's a winner. It's like he's advertising that. And the neurochemical system that makes him flex is serotonergic. And you think, well, what the hell does that mean? I'll tell you what it means. It's the same chemical that's affected by antidepressants in human beings. And so, like, if you're depressed, you're a defeated lobster. You're like this. I'm small. Things are dangerous. Defeated lobster. You're like this. I'm small. I don't want to fight. You give somebody an antidepressant, it's like up they stretch, and then they're ready to take on the world again. Well, if you give lobsters who just got defeated in a fight serotonin, then they stretch out and they'll fight again. Like, we separated from those creatures on the evolutionary timescale somewhere between 350 and 600 million years ago, and the damn neurochemistry is the same. And so that's another indication of just how important hierarchies of authority are. Back to the lobsters. 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 Back to the lobsters.
What? Taking it all the way back to the Lobsters, baby, from Jbpwave Aesthetic, their brand new album. 6 days left to get this thing on vinyl. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Okay, so here's a problem. There's a big problem here. The problem is, it's true. You're oppressed, 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 you're oppressed. God only knows why. You're oppressed, 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 you're oppressed. God only knows why. Maybe you're too short, or you're not as beautiful as you could be, or your grandparent was a serf. Likely, because almost everybody's great-grandparent was. What? you know, and you're not as smart as you could be, and you have a sick relative, and you have your own physical problem. Frankly, you're a mess. Frankly, you're a mess. And you're oppressed in every possible way, including your ancestry and your biology. The entire sum of human history has conspired to produce victimized you with all your individual pathological problems. It's like, yeah. True.
You're oppressed, 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 you're oppressed.
God only knows why.
You're oppressed, 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 you're oppressed,
You're oppressed. You're oppressed. God only knows.
Okay, but the problem is that it is true, and so if you take the oppressed, you have to fractionate them and fractionate them and fractionate them and fractionate them, and it's like you're yeah, okay, well, I'm a black woman. Well, I'm a black woman who has 2 children. Well, I'm a black woman who has 2 children, and one of them isn't very healthy. And then, well, I'm a Hispanic woman, and I have a genius son who doesn't have any money so that he can't go to university. My husband is an alcoholic brute. It's like, well, yeah, that sucks too. And so, let's fix all your oppression.
Let's fix all your oppression. Let's fix all your oppression.
And we'll take every single thing into account, and then we'll fix yours too. We'll take every single thing into account. It's like,
No, you won't. No, you won't. No, you won't. Because you can't.
You can't.
It is
technically impossible.
You're oppressed, 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 you're oppressed.
God only knows why.
You're oppressed, 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 you're oppressed.
God only knows why.
First of all, you can't even list all the ways that you're oppressed. Second, how are you going to weight them? Third, who's going to decide it? That's the bloody thing. Who's going to decide? Who's going to decide? That's the thing. You have to fractionate the oppressed all the way down to the level of the individual. Oh, that's what the West figured out. It's not an accident that the axiomatic Western individual is someone who is unfit, cross, and tortured. It's like, yes, right, exactly.
You're oppressed, 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 you're oppressed.
God only knows why.
You're oppressed, 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 you're oppressed.
God only knows why.
So what do you do about that? Well, I thought about that for a long time too. It's like, well, you don't get together in a damn bar. Because all that does is allow you to be as horrible as you can possibly imagine and suffer from none of the consequences. That's a bad idea. So how about we don't do that? Well, there's a deep idea in the West too. It's like, pick up your damn suffering and bear it. Try to be a good person so you don't make it worse. Well, that's the truth, you know?
That's the triple T truth, Roof. What's up?
Therefore, take no thought for the moral, for the moral shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof.
I spent a long time trying to figure out what that meant too, because it's another one of those lines that can easily be read as pro-grasshopper and anti-ant. Remember the old fable of the grasshopper and the ant? Maybe not. I'm not going to tell it, but the ant works and the grasshopper fiddles. The ant has a pretty good time in the winter and the grasshopper dies.
Oof!
And so this is like a pro-grasshopper line, but it's not. It says something else. It says that if you orient yourself properly and then pay attention to what you do every day, that works. That works. That works. That works. And you can live in the day. You're a creature that has an aim. You have to have an aim that makes every moment supercharged with meaning. Live in the day.
around your aim.
You're a creature that has an aim. You have to have an aim in order to do something. You're an aiming creature. You look at a point and you move towards it. It's built right into you. And so you have an aim. Well, let's say your aim is the highest possible aim. That sets up the world around you. It organizes all of your perception, what you see and you don't see, your emotions and your motivation. So you organize yourself around that aim, and then what happens? The day manifests itself as a set of challenges and problems, and if you solve them properly, you stay on the pathway towards that aim, and you can concentrate on the day. And so that way, you get to have your cake and eat it too. Because you can point into the distance, the far distance. Point into the distance, the far distance. And you can live in the day. You're a creature that has an aim. You have to have an aim. That makes every moment supercharged with meaning. Live in the day. You're a creature that has an aim. You have to have an aim. That makes every moment supercharged with meaning. If everything that you're doing is related to the highest possible aim that you can conceptualize, that's the very definition of the meaning that would sustain you in your life. Well, and then the issue is back to Noah. Well, all hell's about to break loose and chaos is coming. It's like when that's happening in your life, you might want to be doing something that you regard as truly worthwhile. Because that's what will keep you afloat when everything is flooded. And you don't want to wait until the flood comes to start doing that. Because if your ark's half built and you don't know how to captain it, the probability is very high that you'll drown. And you can live in the day. You're a creature that has an aim. You have to have an aim. That makes every moment supercharged with meaning. Live in the day. You're a creature that has an aim. You have to have an aim. That makes every moment supercharged with meaning.
Yo! Not again. Pyong, baby, pyong. What's up? Living the Day. That was the first single from Jbpwave Aesthetic, the first Meaningwave album of 21. And that was the first single of 21 that came out on January 1st, baby. January 1st, what a way to start the year.
One way of conceptualizing yourself is that you're one speck of dust among 7 billion. And when you conceptualize yourself that way, you might think, well, what difference does it make what I say or do? And that's actually quite convenient for you, because if it doesn't matter what you say or do, then you don't have any responsibility and you can do whatever you want. The price you pay for that is a bit of nihilism, but if you don't have to bear any responsibility, that's a small price to pay. The other way of looking at it, and this is actually the accurate way of looking at it, is that you're in a network. You're a node in a network, and so you can do a little bit of arithmetic very rapidly and just figure out how powerful you are. You know 1,000 people. They know 1,000 people. That means that you're one person away from 1 million people and 2 persons away from 1 billion people. And you're the center of that network. And now the way networks work is that information propagates in a network manner. So don't underestimate the power of your speech. Don't underestimate the power of truth. There's nothing more powerful. Tell the truth. 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 Tell the truth, or at least don't lie. That's a start. Tell the truth. 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 Tell the truth, or at least don't lie. That's a start. Tell the truth. 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 Tell the truth, or at least don't lie. That's a start. Let's say you want to tell the truth, 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 tell the truth. Let's say you want to sort out your room and beautify it. And let's say that all you have is just a little room, like you're not rich. But you've got your damn room and you've got the space right in front of you that's a part of the cosmos that you can come to grips with. Got the space right in front of you, space right in front of you, space right in front of you. But you've got your damn room and you've got the space right in front of you that's a part of the cosmos that you can come to grips with. Well, a room is a place to sleep. And so if you set your room up properly, then you figure out how to sleep and when you should sleep and how to sleep. And you figure out when you should wake up. And then figure out, well, what clothes you should wear, because they have to be arranged in your dresser. And then you have to have some place to put your clothes. If you're going to have some clothes, you have to figure out what you're going to wear those clothes to do, right? And then that means you have to figure out what you're going to do. And then your room has to serve that purpose, because otherwise it isn't set up properly. And if it doesn't serve your purposes, you will be unhappy and not happy in the room, because the way that we perceive the world is as a place to move from point A to point B in. You've got your damn room and you've got the space right in front of you, space right in front of you, space right in front of you. You've got your damn room and you've got the space right in front of you. It's a part of the cosmos that you can come to grips with. You've got your damn room and you've got the space right in front of you, space right in front of you, space right in front of you. You've got your damn room and you've got the space right in front of you. It's a part of the cosmos that you can come to grips with. And so what it means to set up your room is that you have to have somewhere to go that's worthwhile. Next thing is, well, maybe you have to make it beautiful. But that's not easy, right? That means you have to have some taste. And that doesn't mean you have to have money. It doesn't. Because you can be garish with money and you can be tasteful with nothing. You have to be creative in order to do that. And so then to beautify your room means that you also have to develop your capacity to be creative. And so then you can make your room shine. You've got your damn room, you've got the space right in front of you, space right in front of you, space right in front of you. You've got your damn room and you've got the space right in front of you. It's a part of the cosmos that you can come to grips with. You've got your damn room and you've got the space right in front of you, space right in front of you, space right in front of you. You've got your damn room and you've got the space right in front of you. That's a part of the cosmos that you can come to grips with. But bite off a little more than you can chew, you get stronger. And you do that in the gym. For example, when you go lift weights that are a little heavier all the time. And as a consequence, you develop yourself physically and you turn into who you could be. You turn into more than you are.
Whoa! Than who you are. Oh, you could be more than who you are. More than you. More than who you are. Oh, you could be more than who you are, more than you are.
There's a mythological trope that I discuss fairly frequently about rescuing your father from the belly of the dragon or the belly of the beast. But you see it in The Lion King. You see it when Simba is being initiated by the baboon, and he ends up contemplating himself in a dark pool, and then his father appears in the sky. And then in the Pinocchio story, when he's trying to become a genuine human being, instead of a marionette pulled by other people's strings, or a liar, or a jackass, because those are his alternate destinies, he goes down to the darkest place he can find, the bottom of the ocean, and finds the biggest monster he can look at, and inside he finds his father, and then rescues him.
More than who you are. Oh, you could be more than who you are. More than you are. More than who you are. Ah, you could be more than who you are. More than you are.
Is, why do you find your father when you look into the abyss? Imagine someone's pursuing a goal. Some of the things they have to accomplish or confront on the way to that goal frighten them, and they start to avoid, and then they get more afraid, and their ability to pursue their goal or to accomplish their goal deteriorates because they're avoiding it. If you're a psychotherapist or even a friend or a supportive loved one, you're going to encourage the person to face the challenges that are making them afraid, to face them voluntarily. What happens as a consequence of that is that the person usually is able to overcome those fears and develop the necessary skill and to prevail. That's partly because, not so much because they get less afraid, but because they get more skilled and more courageous. If you bite off a little more than you can chew, you get stronger as a consequence. And you do that in the gym, for example. You go lift weights. You lift weights that are a little heavier all the time. And as a consequence, you develop yourself physically and you turn into who you could be. You turn into more than you are. Okay, so if you face fears a little bit at a time, fears and challenges, and you do that voluntarily, then you become
more than who you are. Oh, you could be more than who you are. More than you are. More than who you are. Oh, you could be more than who you are.
Okay, now let's recast that in archetypal language and make it into a kind of ultimate. If you want to become everything that you could be, then you look into the abyss itself, which is the darkest place that you can possibly contemplate. The terror of mortality and insanity and of suffering and of malevolence, all of those. It would be like looking into hell, I suppose. And then by voluntarily doing that, you call upon the strongest part of yourself to respond. And the strongest part of yourself is symbolized as the sleeping father nested inside the beast. It's like an answer to Nietzsche's conundrum. If you look long enough into an abyss, then the abyss looks into you. It's like, well, if you look long enough into an abyss, past when the abyss looks into you, you see who you could become in the form of the great ancestral figures nested inside the catastrophe of life. Then you can join them. You can incorporate that and become stronger. And none of that's going to happen without the demand that's placed on you by willing to confront the full terror of life, the reality of suffering, presence of malevolence in your own heart and in the heart of other people. So it's evil and suffering. If you do it forthrightly, then you discover who you could be as a consequence. And who you could be is the solution to malevolence and suffering.
More than who you are. Oh, you could be more than who you are. More than you are. More than who you are. Oh, you could be more than who you are. More than you are.
Such a brilliant conceptualization that inside the darkest place is the heroic ancestor whose identity you could incorporate. Perfect. It's perfect. And I really believe it's true. And what it does is it says that the human being is actually stronger than the greatest challenge that can be set before him or her.
What's up, Meaningwave? What's on number son? Make some noise. But when I say make some noise, that means smash all them emojis. That means batter the live chat with your hieroglyphs. That's how we get down. We inside the very internet itself. Come on. Yo, I had a need for something that didn't exist today. I had a need for something that didn't exist. I had a friend, and I was talking to this old friend of mine. He was telling me about how his son, he's had many trials and tribulations, you know? He's had many trials and tribulations. He's gone through some shit, you know? And now he's found himself in a space where he's come out on the other side of that shit. And he's developed a deep love for philosophy, you know? And this kid, he wakes up at 6 in the morning every day and he just devours philosophy, you know? He writes essays. He's like following like a Cambridge course or something. He's not going to university. He's just doing courses off of his own volition, you know? He's waking up and he's reading Plato, he's reading Nietzsche. I was like, oh shit, we got some songs he'd like, you know? That would be useful to him, I think. Because he really loves Nietzsche, you know? I was like, oh, what songs has Nietzsche been? Obviously, we got Tarantulas where it's a straight up reading of Nietzsche, but we got a bunch of songs where Nietzsche's mentioned or some of Nietzsche's themes are like developed or looked into, you know? I was trying to remember it off the top of my head, you know? I was like, there's that Joseph Campbell one, there's that other Joseph Campbell one. It's like, shit, we need like a database, like this needs like, we need a database that's cross-referenceable and clickable and linkable and, you know what I mean? We got shit to do, Meaningwave Autonomous Zone. We got to finish building the Meaningwave University, you know? And filling it up with corridors and rooms and libraries and ways of navigating the information properly. proud of that kid, baby. I'm proud of him. I've known that kid since he was a little baby. Now he's a big baby. Yo! What's up, Juliana Design? I'll move to Lead, South Dakota. 5 minutes from Deadwood, South Dakota. Every time my fiance and I pass through, I slam this jam on. Nice. Pimp Chuck says, love Joseph Campbell. Yeah! Becca H says, a database, you say. Yeah. Like, we're in the process of kind of building one via, like, adding all the lyrics to Genius. And then integrating them into Meaningwave.com. We've been working on that, yeah? So I imagine there's a way of setting up search strings and hyperlinks and things like that. I don't know. Becca H says, that sounds like a job for those of us who love making databases. I would sign up for that. Alright, well, that's exciting. Hey, let's get it. Database crew, make some noise. Boom. Alright, yeah. Database crew, heads up. We care at Meaningwave.com. Woo!
What should move forward in time with me?
Yeah.
And what should be let go as if it's dead wood? The more dead wood that you let go of and burn off when you have the opportunity.
Speaking of Deadwood,
The less it accretes around you. Deadwood. Deadwood.
meaning spoon, battered to death by cowbell, filling the air in my throat. Yeah.
Deadwood. Here's something interesting about forest fires. People have been trying to prevent forest fires for a long time. It's because forest fires burn up the forest, and that can't be good. But here's what happens if you don't let forest fires burn. Forests collect a lot of dry branches, right? Because tree branches die and wood falls on the forest floor and collects. The amount of flammable material keeps increasing with time. And that's not so bad if it's wet, but if the amount of flammable material is increasing and it gets really dry, and then it burns, then you have a real problem. The forest fire can burn so hot that it burns the topsoil right off, in which case you don't have a forest at all anymore, you just have a desert. Deadwood. Aye. Deadwood. 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 Lots of trees are evolved to withstand forest fires of a certain intensity, and some won't even release their seeds unless there's been a fire. And so a little bit of fire at the right time can stop everything from burning to the ground. And that's also a really useful insight, a metaphorical insight into the nature of sacrifice, right? It's also a lot easier to let go of something when you're deciding to let go of it, because you've decided yourself that you're done with that. It's a weak part of you. It needs to disappear. You do that yourself, it's much better and much easier than it is if it's taken away from you forcibly, in which case you're very much likely to fight it. Aye. Deadwood. 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 As you elevate your aim, you create a judge at the same time. The new ideal, which is an ideal you, that becomes a judge, because it's above you. The judge tells you what's useless about yourself and then you can dispense with it. And you want to keep doing that, and then every time you make a judge that's more elevated, then there's more useless you that has to be dispensed with. And then if you create an ultimate judge, which is what the archetypal imagination of humankind has done, say, with the figure of Christ, you have a judge that says, get rid of everything about yourself that isn't perfect. Deadwood. 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 It's a phoenix-like process, right? You're shedding all those elements of you that are no longer worthy of the pursuits that you're valuing. And then I would say the idea here is that as you do that, you shape yourself ever more precisely into something that can withstand the tragedy of life and that can act as a beacon to the world. That's the right way of thinking about it. Maybe first to your friends and then to your family. It's like it's a hell of a fine ambition, and there's no reason that it can't happen. You know, every one of you knows people who are really bloody useful in a crisis, and people that you admire, right? You can think of all those people as partial incarnations of the archetypal Messiah. That's exactly right. Deadwood. 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 Deadwood.
And the more that manifests itself in any given person, then the more generally useful and admirable that person is in a multitude of situations. And we don't know the limit to that.
Aye. Deadwood, baby, Deadwood. What up, Magalines 2540? Man, I'm so glad you keep broadcasting. Quarantine is really better thanks to you. You remember when I misheard Meaningwave years ago? I saw the title and had to click. I had those happy accidents, baby. What's up? What's up, Boo 2? Another late night, another Akira the Dawn set. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Splash.
My sense is that if you want to change the world, you start from yourself and work outward. Work outward. Work outward. My sense is that if you want to change the world, you start from yourself and work outward. Work outward. Work outward. You got to be oriented towards something, because otherwise you're disoriented. You just spin around in circles and then you suffer, and so do people around you. It's not a good solution. Orient yourself towards something. You have to figure out what it is. What will work for you? What goal would justify the suffering of your life? Start trying to piece that together. You're going to get better at it. But it's a personal process. So you need a personal place to stand, because otherwise you're going to be handed a place to stand on a plate. And it may be one that makes you a puppet of someone else's goals. So I would say, you know, what are the processes? Well, I think what I've recommended to people is clean up your room. 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 That's a good start. Organize your local landscape. Schedule your time. Start taking control of yourself. See if you can stop saying things you know to be lies. That's not the same as telling the truth. You don't get to do that to begin with, because you're not good enough at it to even attempt it in some sense. But everyone can stop saying things they know to be falsehoods. Stop saying things that violate your conscience. Here's another idea. Stop saying and doing things that make you feel weak. Because all you have to do is pay attention to that. Some things you do will make you feel disintegrated. It's a physiological sensation. Some things improve your integrity and some things disintegrate you. Now, the things that disintegrate you, you often do to impress other people. or because you're taking a shortcut, or you're escaping what you know to be your moral obligation. And your moral obligation stems naturally from your aims. And if you don't have an aim, well, then you're aimless. So that's not a solution. So along with the aims come the moral obligations. Then when you violate the moral obligations, you'll have a sense of that violation. It's like, well, you have to stop doing that. Or that's something you could do. You don't have to. You don't have to do any of this. But I would say that's where people should start. You start small. Clean up your room. Clean up your room. Clean up your room. Clean up your room. I had a girl come up to me last night. She said, I started cleaning up my room and it completely changed my life. She said, your room is an externalization of your mind. And that's right. That's exactly true. To the degree that you're in your room, the room is you. Now, that isn't how people think. That's okay. It doesn't matter if they think that way. That's how it is. So, straighten up what you can straighten up and quit saying things that make you feel weak. And then you'll know what to do next. Clean up your room. 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 One of the things I tend to do is to look at symbolic representations through the lens of evolutionary biology, rather than assuming that these representations are mere superstitions or play no functions. Like, we have the idea that there's a deity that's father-like. So it's a disembodied spirit in some sense that's eternal, that has eternal characteristics. It's like, okay, well, strip it of its metaphysics. If you strip it of its metaphysics and just look at it as a biological phenomena, it's like, well, what might the idea that there's an eternal spirit of the Father, Spirit of the Father. There's an eternal spirit of the Father, Spirit of the Father. There's an eternal spirit of the Father, Spirit of the Father. There's an eternal spirit of the Father, Spirit of the Father.
Make some noise!
Be a reflection of.
MSE, flood that chat.
You imitating your father, but your father imitated his father, and his father, and his father, and
his father imitated his father. Aye.
So in some sense, what your father actually imitated was the pattern of fathers across time. And you can think of the transcendent father as the pattern of fathers across time. When a child imitates his father in pretend play, when I'm pretending to be my father, I'm observing my father across multiple situations, and then I'm abstracting out the commonalities in behavior and attitude across. Make him father, and then I incorporate that and dramatize it in my pretend play. It's unbelievably sophisticated. And so it's what the child is doing in pretend play is coming to embody the disembodied spirit of the Father. There's an eternal spirit of the Father, Spirit of the Father. There's an eternal spirit of the Father, Spirit of the Father. There's an eternal spirit of the Father, Spirit of the Father. There's an eternal spirit of the Father, Spirit of the Father. So that is a disembodied spirit. It's a disembodied spirit that's incarnated in the collective of fathers across time.
Collective of fathers across time.
And what is that? Well, it's a judge. That's for sure. It's a judge. Even when you interact with the hierarchy of men who are currently alive, something can be abstracted out of that. It's like the patriarchal spirit. And if you don't think that's judging you, you are not thinking. It's absolutely judging you. That's what rank orders you in a hierarchy. There's an eternal spirit of the Father, Spirit of the Father. There's an eternal spirit of the Father, Spirit of the Father. There's an eternal spirit of the Father. Consider the lilies of the field.
What?
How they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you, that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Wherefore, if God so clothes the grass of the field, which today is and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you?
Oh, ye of little faith. Oh, ye of little faith. Oh, ye of little faith. Oh, ye of little faith.
Shall he not much more clothe you? Therefore, take no thought, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or wherewithal shall we be clothed? Those are famous lines. That's sort of Christ the hippie, right? It's like, hey, let it all hang out, do your thing, and everything will come to you. But that's seriously not the proper interpretation, because there's a kicker with this, and the kicker is this. For your heavenly Father knows you have need of all these things. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Oh, ye of little faith.
Oh, ye of little faith. Oh, ye of little faith. Oh, ye of little faith.
Aye.
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. That's a lot different than the hippie thing. That's a lot different than the hippie thing, right? That's a lot different than the hippie thing. That's a lot different than the hippie thing, right? That's a lot different than the hippie thing. That's a lot different than the hippie thing, right? That's a lot different than the hippie thing. That's a lot different than the hippie thing, right? There's a very, very, very interesting idea here. It's certainly one of the most profound ideas that I've ever encountered. If you configure your life so that what you are genuinely doing is aiming at the highest possible good, then the things that you need to survive and to thrive on a day-to-day basis will deliver themselves to you. If you dare to do the most difficult thing that you can conceptualize, your life will work out better than it will if you do anything else. Well, how are you going to find out if that's true? There's no way you're going to find out whether or not that's true unless you do it. You have to be all in this game. All in this game. All in this game.
Hey! All in this game.
Oh, ye of little faith.
Oh, ye of little faith. Oh, ye of little faith. Oh, ye of little faith.
Love you too, Shiva Radu.
The forms of culture that we would
Meaningwave on top of the sun makes good.
Most inclined to foster in the individual that glowing of the flame.
I think the most accessible
form for most people is music. And music, to me, is the most representational form of art, because I think that the world is made out of patterns. And we perceive some patterns as objects, but fundamentally it's patterns. And what you want is all the patterns of the world to interact harmoniously in something where every element is related intelligibly to every other element. And I think that when your life is in harmony, then you can feel that. When you're dancing to beautiful music, you're acting that out. The music is the music of the spheres, and you're participating in the patterning of your being in accordance with that structure, and that gives you an intimation of transcendence.
Music is everything. Music is everything. Music is everything. Music is everything.
It's not criticizable. That's the thing that's so lovely about it, is even as our society has become more cynical and more self-destructive and more deconstructionist, the power of music has in fact grown. Because it speaks to that eternal harmony. And the reality of that eternal harmony in a way that mere intellect cannot deny. And I mean, I was always amused. I went to this show, the Ramones, a punk band from New York. It was the loudest concert I'd ever heard by a good factor of 10. My ears rang for like 3 days afterwards. There were all these like nihilistic punk rockers all crammed into this theater, and below me there was a mosh pit. It was like ants on a frying pan. And they were just smashing into each other and throwing people around up above them, and it was quite rough. And they were all having this beautifully transcendent musical experience which belied all of their nihilism. And they absolutely thrived on it. It was like, and even the lyrics were harsh and nihilistic, but it didn't matter because the music in its rough form was something that united them in the sense of this like patterned beauty and brought them together. And so exposure to music, people die without music. It's like, music is everything.
Everything. Music is 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 everything. Meaningwave autonomous makes you do this. Godspeed to Roger Scruton. Shouts out to everybody locked in live. Shouts out to everybody on the replay. Shouts out to the ancestors.
It isn't merely that your fate depends on whether or not you get your act together and to what degree you decide that you're going to live out your own genuine being. It isn't only your fate. It's the fate of everyone that you're networked with. There's 7 billion people in the world, and who are you? You're just one little dust mote among that 7 billion, and so it really doesn't matter what you do or don't do, but that's simply not the case. It's the wrong model, because you're at the center of a network. You're a node in 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 the network.
What up?
You'll know 1,000 people, at least over the course of your life. And they'll know 1,000 people. And that puts you one person away from 1 million. And 2 persons away from 1 billion. And so that's how you're connected. And the things you do, they're like dropping a stone in a pond. The ripples move outward, and they affect things in ways that you can't fully comprehend. And it means that
The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think. More important than you think. Far more important than you think. The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think.
the terror of realizing that is that it actually starts to matter what you do. And you might say, well, that's better than living a meaningless existence. It's better for it to matter. But I mean, if you really ask yourself, would you be so sure?
The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think. More important than you think. Far more important than you think. The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think.
You had the choice. I can live with no responsibility whatsoever. The price I pay is that nothing matters. Or I can reverse it and everything matters. But I have to take the responsibility that's associated with that. It's not so obvious to me that people would take the meaningful path. You know, when you say, well, nihilists suffer dreadfully because there's no meaning in their life and they still suffer. Yeah, but the advantage is they have no responsibility. So that's the payoff, and I actually think that's the motivation. Say, well, I can't help being nihilistic. All my belief systems have collapsed. It's like, yeah, maybe. Maybe you've just allowed them to collapse because it's a hell of a lot easier than acting them out. And the price you pay is some meaningless suffering, but you can always whine about that and people will feel sorry for you, and you have the option of taking the pathway of the martyr, so that's a pretty good deal, all things considered, especially when the alternative is to bear your burden properly and to live forthrightly in the world. If you live a pathological life, you pathologize your society. And if enough people do that, then it's hell. Really.
The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think. More important than you think. Far more important than you think. The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think. Far more important than you. Than you think. The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think. More important than you think. Far more important than you think. The things that you do and you don't do are far more important than you think. Far more important than you. Than you think.
And you can read the Gulag Archipelago and you'll see exactly what hell is like. And then you can decide if that's a place you'd like to visit. Or even more importantly, if it's a place you'd like to visit and take all your family and friends. Because that's what happened in the 20th century.
VNYL on television, make some noise for yourself. Make some noise for the ancestors. For the ancestors! Make some noise for Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. Blah! Oh yeah, little fight! Shouts out to the Telegram gang. Telegram going crazy. Wow! Telegram going nuts. If you want to join the Telegram gang, go to t.me/Akira the Dawn. T.me/Akira the Dawn. They actually send out notifications over there. And they have not set up some terrifying mob lynch. Mob lynch. What's it called? What is Twitter done now? I'm sorry, man. I deleted Twitter off my phone, you know, so I just check it on Twitter. Like, I'll go check my, like, messages, like, a couple times a day. I deleted it off my phone because I had this terrible habit I developed of just, like, scrolling it aimlessly whenever my computer was doing something, you know. I'm in the middle of producing records, set something to render, look at Twitter. So I deleted it off my phone and put a Plato book where the phone was, and I'm much happier now. I went on there today to answer some messages. And everyone on there's going nuts about Twitter introducing some new shit where, like, you can sign up to be a part of the mob and police other people's tweets. Oh, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun. They're now gonna hand over power to a mob. We go around deciding what people can tweet and what people can't tweet. Yo, way to go to destroy your platform completely. I honestly don't think that motherfucker long for this world. Excuse my language, you know, I'm doing my very, very best not to swear, I really do. Oh, shouts out to the Telegram gang. Telegram gang just summed it up with one GIF. We can't see. There it is. Boom! Going down, baby. God bless. Anyway, t.me/Akira the Don is our Telegram channel. And right now it's okay. I mean, who knows how long it'll last? Who knows? But here's the thing. Who knows how long any of this will last? Who knows? I've been saying this for so long. This incredible blip in history. My dad didn't get to, like, go online and play concerts for the whole world every day. My grandfather drove a tank. My grandfather was taken from his school by communist Russians and put into a camp when he was a teenager. Like, this thing that's going on right now, this is new, this is rare, this is incredible, and there is no guarantee that it's gonna last another week, let alone anything else, and that is why I stream twice a day. That's why I release an album every month. That's why we release music every Friday. That's why we take advantage of this hitherto unimaginable opportunity. Because we don't know if it's gonna last. Now personally, I understand that we are on the precipice. We are on the precipice. And that's groovy, baby, because you know what? You know what the precipice, like, that's where you jump off if you're going soar. Swoosh. You know what I mean? I don't know why. I mean, you could always do that off of the ground, but it seems that, you know, running and jumping off a cliff, that's the way to go, baby. And you could go plummeting down, or you could fly, baby. And I personally, I know what I am aiming at. But best but believe, I am not naive. I am not naive to the dangers that lie all around us and the potential for absolute disaster that is there, baby. It is there. And that's why it's very important that each and every one of you plays your part in bringing yourself into 100% you. 100% you in this lifetime. That is how we beat that which faces us. That is how we beat those dragons. That is how we march boldly forward to our destiny. Each one of us at 100% us, 100% you. Not only fills up that hole in the cosmos, which is created by you not being there, but also inspires all those around you blesses the world with that glory. You know, so that's Operation. Operation right now. Operation 100% Youth. So do not give into astonishment. Relax. Do not give into astonishment. Go forth, be mighty, get after it. Listen to Meaningwave. That's what we advise over here. Speaking of listening to Meaningwave, we got a brand new album. It's called Jbpwave Aesthetic. It's the brand new album from Akira the Don and Jordan Peterson. And it is available on vinyl. We're making it available on vinyl for the first time on vinyl. And not only is that on vinyl, but Jbpwave Genesis, the beloved classic album, also available on vinyl. But here's the thing, it is only available via this Indiegogo campaign, and this Indiegogo campaign is not long for this world. It's got 6 days left. That means you got 6 days to claim your vinyl, by Jove. Claim your vinyl, 6 days. Otherwise, you're going to be like all those people who missed out on the Alan Watts vinyl and write to me every day saying, oh, why can I get Alan Watts vinyl? Yo! That's our motto right now. In this stage of our growth, this is how we're doing it. And it's beautiful. Makes everything so special. There's a very small amount of Alan Watts vinyl left. Flippin' heck, there's seven complete Meaningwave vinyl sets and 10 complete Meaningwave with monolith. That means there's only, how many monoliths? Not many monoliths. 14 of these monoliths, these one-of-a-kind steel sculptures, candy-coated finish made by a real American Meaningwave fan, an epic metal artist. The previous, he made some ones before, they were silver. There's one on my desk, you know, right here. They sold out. No, these are limited edition as part of this campaign. So go and back this campaign. We're also using this campaign as a way of financing the next bunch of Jbpwave albums. We were about to hit 37. Actually, let's do a refresh to see where we're at. When we hit 37, that means we can get an orchestra, a 30-piece orchestra playing on 2 songs on the next Jbpwave album. Oh shoot, look at that. Boom! Shouts out to whoever did that, whoever backed this campaign in the past half hour or whatever it was. We are $85 away from that second orchestra track. Wow! And then that means we're just 2K away from Jbpwave 4 being made into an album. Boom! But yeah, 6 days left to claim your vinyl, baby. So go forth, be mighty, claim your vinyl. But most importantly, do not, I repeat, do not bother children whilst they are skateboarding.
One of the things that's happened in our society is that we seem to have concluded that strong men are dangerous. And that's partly because we think Western culture is a tyrannical patriarchy, and the only reason you get to the top is because you misuse power. So all the men who are at the top of the hierarchy are all misusing their power, and they're all tyrannical. And all the guys who have the aim and ambition to achieve that are just tyrants in training. That's sort of the basic attitude that we have towards our own culture and towards young men now. Everything about that is pathological and inexcusable and shameful.
You know, I used to watch kids skateboard. I liked watching those kids. I like watching skateboarders do those crazy things because they're trying to become competent. They're facing danger. They don't want the damn protective gear. It's like, no, I don't want to wear a helmet. I want to expose myself to this danger. It's not that I'm stupid. And the kids are often shooed away. It's like, wait a sec. They're practicing being courageous. They're practicing mastering something in the face of danger.
Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Don't bother children. Don't bother children. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Don't bother children. Don't bother children. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding.
That's toxic masculinity. You know, that horrid phrase. It's like, leave those damn kids alone. About 10 years ago in Toronto, they changed the insurance rules governing the playgrounds. Parents had raised money for these damn playgrounds. There was nothing wrong with them. Tore them all out. 2 weeks before school started, there was nothing but dirt and gravel. I saw the kids on top of the school.
Why?
Because they needed some danger. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Don't bother children. Don't bother children. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Don't bother children. Don't bother children. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Go see a gymnast. Like the gymnast does a flawless routine. Everybody claps like mad. The judges say 9.9. And then the next person comes up and they're screwed. It's like 9.9. It was basically perfect. How can you do better than perfect? And then they do it. You can do better than perfect. They're on the edge. And they go out there and you watch them. You feel it in your body. Everything they do is that much farther out into chaos than anything they've ever done. Pushing themselves to the absolute limit of their ability. Tell with every gesture, you're that close to making a mistake. They've taken this courageous step beyond their confidence and put everything on the line. And when they land in a way that's unlike perfect. It's perfect plus. And everybody immediately leaps to their feet. And like they get a chill. And so what you've just seen is awe-inspiring. You've seen someone courageously move past perfection into the unknown. And not only ennoble themselves more, but to ennoble humanity itself. Up on your feet. It's like, yes! And then it's tens. They win the goal. Well, everyone knows what that's like. It's like a great music performance. That's being in that place where everything lines up. It's better than perfect. Better than perfect. Better than perfect. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Don't bother children. Don't bother children. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Don't bother children. Don't bother children. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Don't bother. 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 Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. Don't bother children. Don't bother children. Don't bother. Don't bother. Don't bother children when they're skateboarding. 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 Don't bother children when they're skateboarding.
What's up, dude? Hey, good news. What is this? Natural Phenomenon says Nietzsche and Meaningwave project is go. YouTube won't let me drop a link, but I spread it all over Discord in the chat. It's open and collaborative. Go contribute to the database. Wow, how about that? How about that? What up, Prince Jabrikas XV? How you doing, baby? Oi! Says, brother, I say a lot of dramatic and hyperbolic stuff. Do you? But I really do believe you are creating a foundation and scaffold for your brothers and sisters in humanity to change the world, even more than you already are. Get after it! And thank you, Prince Jabrikas. Yo, baby, we all out here doing our very best, right? Playing our part. We got a Telegram gang playing their part. Whoa! Whoa!
requires a sustaining meaning. Happiness is fleeting, and suffering requires a sustaining meaning. That place where the meaning and the fact are conjoined, that's the proper place to lecture from. What you want to do as an academic is tell your students about something that you've encountered, that you've fallen in love with, and to communicate the love that you have for that. And not to say, well, you should read this book, but to say, well, here's this book, and here's what it can open up for you, and this is how it does it. This is what you'll gain from it. There's something in it that's of unbelievable utility, and you have to believe that in order to communicate it. To communicate that commitment you have to beauty and to truth and to literature, it isn't enough to say what they are and to transmit them. It's to manifest yourself as a living part of that tradition, and to show yourself thereby as a model for living out what that tradition represents, and to show that that's so much better than like a short-term pleasure-seeking nihilism. They're not even in the same conceptual universe. And people are far more open to that. They know already. People know, especially when they're hurt. They know that happiness is fleeting, and suffering requires a sustaining meaning. They know happiness is fleeting, and that suffering requires a sustaining meaning. King's Chapel, the people who started it didn't live to see its completion. They were driven by this nobility of transcendent vision, and they produced these enduring forms. Out of the bloody misery of history, we've erected all this spectacular infrastructure that we're so fortunate to be part of. And none of that gratitude is taught. It's partly not taught because people have no sense of the absolute catastrophe of history. It's like nasty, brutish, and short. The simplest and most likely social circumstances. Catastrophe punctuated by hell. And to see that not happening in a sustained manner constantly, and to see things improving around us, and to be reliable in that manner, and then not to be grateful for that, it's an unbelievable combination of ignorance, ingratitude, and willful blindness. And to not instill that sense in young people, for them to understand that they are standing on the bones of generations of people who suffered to make this possible, despite all their errors, and brought this forward. Happiness is fleeting, and suffering requires a sustaining meaning. They know happiness is fleeting, and that suffering requires a sustaining meaning. We could concentrate on building the future instead of criticizing the past. You start in the world if you have some wisdom and some humility, by taking the potential that lies dormant in front of you and interacting with it in the logos-like manner, with truth and with love, and by transforming that potential into whatever you can create out of it that's good. It won't be small if you do that. You can transform your whole household by transforming your room. You can transform your whole neighborhood by transforming your house. Like, these things spread very, very rapidly, and that is right there in front of you. People think they're impoverished, that they don't have any opportunity, and the opportunity is hidden from them by their unwillingness to take the steps that are necessary to put what they could put in front of them in order, and to produce the beauty instead of the ugliness where they could do that. And I don't think there is anything more powerful than that. That works. Happiness is fleeting, and suffering requires a sustaining meaning. They know happiness is fleeting, and that suffering requires a sustaining meaning. Happiness is fleeting, and suffering requires a sustaining meaning. They know happiness is fleeting, and that suffering requires a sustaining meaning. here's a balm for the suffering, and it's profound and deep, and here's what it's meant to me, and here's how you can incorporate it into your life. People are absolutely starving for that, or dying of thirst for that.
Meaningwave Autonomous Song, God bless you. Shouts out to everybody locked in. Shivaradu, thank you, you amazing. You are breathtaking, God bless. God bless! I told you it's Operation 100% you. It ain't just that. It's Operation! Operation! Make it beautiful.
That beauty, there's no call to higher being. This is also why I've mentioned to people that they should clean up their rooms. That's become quite the internet meme. But I'm really serious about it because it's really hard to do that. And it isn't just that you clean it up. You also have to make it beautiful.
Make it beautiful. Make it beautiful. Make it beautiful. Make it beautiful. Make it beautiful. It's really hard to make something beautiful. Make it beautiful. And it's really worthwhile. Make it beautiful. It's really hard to make something beautiful. Make it beautiful. And it's really worthwhile.
What's really cool is if you learn to make something beautiful, even one thing, if you could just make one thing in your life beautiful, then you've established a relationship with beauty. And then you can start to expand that relationship with beauty out into the world, like into other elements of your life. And that is so worthwhile. It's just incredibly, crazily worthwhile.
Make it beautiful. 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 It's really hard to make something beautiful. Make it beautiful. And it's really worthwhile. Make it beautiful. It's really hard to make something beautiful. Make it beautiful. And it's really worthwhile.
People are terrified of it. People are terrified of color. They paint their walls beige. They're terrified of art. They buy some mass-produced thing because they don't want anybody laughing at them for their lack of taste. And they would get laughed at because they have no taste. But you have to, well, it's right, because what do you know, right? You have to develop it. And so you're going to stumble along and make mistakes to begin with. And you're going to show yourself, because if you buy, I think this is pretty, and somebody comes over and goes, hey, what's up with you? It's kind of hard on your self-esteem, but it's you're stumbling towards the right. You're stumbling towards the kingdom of God. That's what you're stumbling towards when you try to make an aesthetic decision.
Make it beautiful. Make it beautiful. Make it beautiful. Make it beautiful. Make it beautiful.
It's really hard to make something beautiful.
Make it beautiful. And it's really worthwhile. Make it beautiful. It's really hard to make something beautiful. Make it beautiful. And it's really worthwhile.
Beauty is absolutely terrifying to people because beauty highlights what's ugly. And so if you start to make your room beautiful, then everything around that isn't like that just starts to glow in the worst sense. It's terribly dangerous. That's why people are afraid of beauty, but it's the greatest thing you can do. Beautiful things are beautiful for a reason. That beauty has depth, like it's real depth, man. That's what gets you in touch with the transcendent and the divine is beauty. You introduce that into your room, you're playing with fire. And people will resist it.
Make it beautiful. 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 It's really hard to make something beautiful. Make it beautiful. And it's really worthwhile. Make it beautiful. It's really hard to make something beautiful. Make it beautiful. And it's really worthwhile.
I was in this museum a while back. It was full of these paintings from the late Renaissance. There's like a dozen of them in this one room. Every painting on that wall was worth $300 million, like minimum. You couldn't buy those paintings. Like there was like a dozen of them in there. I thought, wow, there's like $3.6 billion worth of paintings in this room. And people are making pilgrimages from all over the world just to look at them. It's like, what the hell's going on? It's like, yeah, no kidding. What the hell's going on? There's beauty in those paintings. There's beauty and it's magnificent.
And part of what it does is say, you aren't who you should be. That's what beauty does to you. That's why you're intimidated by a woman, a staggeringly beautiful woman. It's like, oh my God. You know, attracted for sure, but definitely intimidated. It's like, well, that's because you aren't who you could be. Beauty does that to you because beauty has that contrast.
Alright. Let's take it right back, baby. Oh! What a glorious thing. Waking up in the morning, baby. Oh! What a glorious thing. You get to have a whole day. Hey! Oh! What a glorious thing. Waking up in the morning, baby. Oh! What a glorious thing. You get to have a whole day. Hey! Oh! What a glorious thing. Waking up in the morning, baby. Oh, what a glorious thing. You get to have a whole day. Hey, oh, what a glorious thing. Waking up in the morning, baby. Oh, what a glorious thing. You get to have a whole day. Hey, hey. What? Carry me home. Carry me home. Carry me on. Ba 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 dum bum 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 ba dum bum bum ba dum bum da dum bum 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 ba dum bum bum ba dum bum bum ba dum bum 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 ba dum bum bum ba dum. Everybody, see, make some noise.
Tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Do not do things that you hate. Act so that you can tell the truth about how you act. Pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. If you have to choose, be the one who does things instead of the one who is seen to do things.
Seen to do things.
Pay attention. Assume that the person you are listening to might know something you need to know. Listen to them hard enough so that they will share it with you. Plan and work diligently to maintain the romance in your relationships. Be careful who you share good news with. Be careful who you share bad news with. Make at least one thing better every single place you go. Imagine who you could be, and then aim single-mindedly at that. Do not allow yourself to become arrogant or resentful. Try to make one room in your house as beautiful as possible. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Work as hard as you possibly can on at least one thing and see what happens. If old memories still make you cry, write them down carefully and completely. Maintain your connections with people. Do not carelessly denigrate social institutions or artistic achievement. Treat yourself as if you were someone that you are responsible for helping. Ask someone to do you a small favor
so that he or she can ask you to do one in the future. Make friends with people who want the best for you. Do not try to rescue someone who does not want to be rescued. And be very careful about rescuing someone who does. Nothing well done is insignificant. Set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. Dress like the person you want to be. Be precise in your speech. Stand up straight. Stand up straight. With your shoulders back. Don't avoid something frightening if it stands in your way. But don't do unnecessarily dangerous things. What? Do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. Do not transform your wife into a maid. Do not hide unwanted things in the fog. Notice that opportunity lurks where responsibility has been abdicated. Read something written by someone great. Pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. Do not bother children when they are skateboarding. Don't let bullies
Get away with it!
Write a letter to the government. You see something that needs fixing and propose a solution. Remember that what you do not yet know is more important than what you already know. Be grateful. In spite of your suffering.
All the young dudes carry the news. All the young dudes carry the news. I'll see you when you get there. If you ever get there. I'll see you when you get there. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. What? MAC makes noise.
Better than alcohol, man. Yeah, and the funny thing is, if you're trying to stop drinking, you need something better than alcohol. And alcohol's pretty good, so you better find something to love.
That's right.
Estimable people do estimable things. It's like, yeah, well, you want to figure out something that you're doing with your life that's worth not getting drunk and screwing up. You might say, well, why do people drink too much? If you like alcohol, that's a stupid question. Why do people drink too much? Well, because it's great. So why stop?
Wow.
You do stupid things when you're drunk. You hurt yourself. You compromise your health. It's really hard on the people around you. You tend to turn into a liar, and it screws up your life. It's like, yeah, but it's pretty fun. Yeah, well, it is. But you need something better than that. And what's better isn't being straight and not making mistakes. It's like that's all prohibition in some sense. What's better is, no, you need it
all together.
Alcohol is an interesting drug.
And if you don't like drinking, drinking, you can sing along. And if you do like drinking, well, it can't be wrong. Everybody loves to drink.
Well, you need an adventure, man. You need to get out there and have something to do, something worth waking up for. That's the substitute for the addiction. Actually, the addiction is the substitute for that. If truth be known. Alcohol really is a good drug for... It makes you more extroverted and enthusiastic, more full of positive emotion. And the second thing it does is reduce anxiety. It's a great drug. But the problem is, it's a great drug.
In a moment.
Alcohol is an interesting drug.
And if you don't like drinking, you can sing hello.
Alcohol.
Well, it's a great drug. Really wrong. Everybody loves to drink.
It's a great drug. The alcohol is an interesting drug because it actually doesn't make people stupid. People who are drunk will take far more risk, and you might say, well, that's because they're too stupid to understand the risk. It's like, no, they're not. If you ask them about the risk when they're drunk, they can outline it perfectly. What it stops them from doing is caring about the risk. That's why you can drive around drunk at high speed in a car, which is a really stupid thing to do. It's fun, like so many things. It's like jumping off a cliff. I'm flying! True, until the last 1/10 of a second. It's like, then you're not flying, man. Alcohol is an interesting drug.
And if you don't like drinking, you can sing along. But if you do like drinking, well, it can't be wrong. Everybody loves to drink. 1, 2, 3, go!
Alcohol is an interesting drug.
And if you don't like drinking, you can sing along. And if you do, well, it can't be wrong. Everybody loves to.
There's consequences.
What? What? Yo! Yo, Meaningwave Autonomous, don't make some noise for yourself. Meaningwave Live! That was Meaningwave Live, Jbpwave set. I could play for hours. I could play Meaningwave, I could play Jbpwave for hours and hours and hours. There's so many bangers! So many bangers! So many epic Meaningwave bangers! Shouts out to the Telegram gang, although, hang on, who is this? It looks like it's a beautiful, unpronounceable hieroglyph just banging 500 gifs a second. And I thought for a second, I looked at it, I was like, is this just random spam? But then, like, occasionally they make sense. And it's just sworn at me. It's just sworn at me. The beautiful hieroglyph in the Telegram just swore at me. Now it's saying Charlie Murphy. I can't, maybe is this AI? Is it Nightbot? Has Nightbot taken over the Telegram? We need Telegram hero Alex on the case. Let's check it in the campaign one more time. Let's see where we're at. Did we cross the magical threshold of second orchestra? Oh, so close! We are $20 away from an orchestra on a second track. Wow! Well, we got one more song for you tonight. We got one more song, by Jove. And I've been looking forward to being able to play this song at the end of a set. I had this song since, when did I finish this song? Was it October? And I kept it secret, I kept it so close to my heart. And I wanted to share it so badly because I loved it so much, but it's been very important for us to get ahead of the schedule so that, if something weird happened, like, I don't know, something weird, like we suddenly had to, I don't know, go underground or something, we'd still have albums scheduled to come out, and you wouldn't be without new Meaningwave music. It's very important that we got a bit ahead. It was at one point, it was like literally I'd finished the record and it had come out that week, But I've managed to get a couple months ahead now. It's very, very exciting. But one more song, and I've been wanting to play this song last for a long time, so here it is, baby. Thank you for being here tonight, and I will dedicate this to you, and you, and you.
I read a lot about terrible things that people have done to each other. You just cannot even imagine it. It's so awful. So you don't want to be someone like that. Now, do you have a reason to be? Yes.
You have lots of reasons to be. God, there's reasons to be resentful about your existence. Everyone you know is gonna die. You too. And there's gonna be a fair bit of pain along the way. And lots of it's gonna be unfair. It's like, yeah. No wonder you're resentful. It's like, act it out. See what happens. You make everything you're complaining about infinitely worse. There's this idea that hell is a bottomless pit. And that's because no matter how bad it is, some stupid son of a bitch like you could figure out a way to make it a lot worse. That's what life is like. It's suffering. That's what the religious people have always said. Life is suffering. Yes. Life is suffering. Yes. What do you do in the face of that suffering? Try to reduce it. Start with yourself. What good are you? Get yourself together for Christ's sake so that when your father dies, you're not whining away in the corner and you can help plan the funeral and you can stand up solidly so that people can rely on you. That's better. Don't be a damn victim. Of course you're a victim. Jesus. Obviously. Put yourself together. You know how to do that. You know what's wrong with you. If you'll admit it. You know there's a few things you could, like, polish up a little bit. But you might even be able to manage in your insufficient present condition. You might shine yourself up a little bit, and then your eyes will be a little more open, then you can shine yourself up a little bit more, and then maybe you could bring your family together instead of having to be the hateful, fightful, neurotic, infighting batch that you're doomed to spend Christmas with. Life is suffering.
Life is suffering.
Yeah.
What you gonna do about it?
Life is suffering.
Life is suffering.
Yeah.
What you gonna do about it?
So then you fix yourself up a little bit, kind of humbly, because, you know, God, you're a fixer-upper if there ever was one. And then you got to figure out how to make peace with your idiot brother, and probably not, because he's just as dumb as you, so how the hell are you going to manage that? So then maybe you get somewhere that way, and your family sort of functioning, and you find out that kind of relieved a little bit of suffering, although it reduced the opportunities for spiteful revenge, and that's kind of a pain in the neck. And so then you get your family together a little bit, and you're a little clued in then, at least a bit, because you've done something difficult that's actually difficult. You're a little wiser, and so then maybe you could put a tentative finger out beyond the family and try to change some little thing without wrecking it. Our society is complex, and we teach our students that they could just fix it. It's like, go fix a military helicopter and see how far you get with that. You're like a chimp with a wrench. Whack! Oh, look, it's better. It's like, no, it's not better. Things are complicated, and to fix things is really hard. And you have to be like a golden tool to fix things. And you're not. And that's the other message of the West. How do you overcome the suffering of life? Be a better person. What? Life is suffering.
Life is suffering.
Yes.
What you gonna do about it?
Life is suffering.
Life is suffering.
Yes.
What you gonna do about it?
Life is suffering.
Life is suffering.
Yes.
What you gonna do about it? Life is suffering.
Yes.
What you gonna do about it?
Well, that's hard. It takes responsibility. And I think, you know, if you said to someone, you want to have a meaningful life? Everything you do matters. That's the definition of a meaningful life. But everything you do matters. You're gonna have to carry that with you. Or do you want to just forget about the whole meaning thing and then you don't have any responsibility because who the hell cares? And you can wander on whatever you want, gratifying impulsive desires for how useful that's going to be, and stuck in meaninglessness, but you don't have any responsibility. Which one do you want? Well, ask yourself, which one are you pursuing? And you'll find very rapidly that it isn't the majority of your soul that's pursuing the whole meaning thing, because, well, look what you have to do that. You have to take on the fact that life is suffering. You have to put yourself together in the face of that. Well, that's hard. Christ, it's amazing people can even do it. I'm stunned every day when I go outside, and it isn't a riot with everything burning.
What you gonna do about it? Life is suffering. What you gonna do about it? What you gonna do?
I knew this guy. He'd been in a motorcycle accident, and it really ruined him. And he was like a linesman, you know, working on the power. And he was working with someone who had Parkinson's disease, and they had complementary inadequacies. And so two of them could do the job of one person. So they're out there fixing power lines in the freezing cold, despite the fact that one was 3/4 wrecked.
MAC, make some noise!
Motorcycle accident, the other
MAC, make some noise!
Parkinson's. It's like, that's how our civilization works. There's all these ruined people out there. They've got problems like you can't believe. Off they go to work. Can do things they don't even like. And look, the lights are on. My God, it's unbelievable. It's a miracle.
Look, the lights are on.
It's a miracle. It's unbelievable. It's a miracle. Look, the lights are on. It's a miracle. It's unbelievable. And we're so ungrateful. College students, postmodern, they're so ungrateful, you know? They don't know that they're surrounded by just a bloody miracle. A miracle that all this stuff works, that all you crazy chimpanzees that don't know each other can sit in the same room for 2 hours sweltering away without tearing each other apart, because that's what chimps do.
Tearing each other apart. That's what chimps do.
Without tearing each other apart, because that's what chimps do. It's a miracle.
Look, the lights are on.
It's a miracle.
It's unbelievable.
It's a miracle.
Look, the lights are on.
It's a miracle.
It's unbelievable.
It's a miracle.
Look, the lights are on. It's a miracle. It's unbelievable. It's a miracle. Look, the lights are on. It's a miracle. It's unbelievable.
So, anyways, so what happened? Well, I made some videos and I got to the bottom of some things, at least as far as I could tell. So I told you what the bottom is. Then I got this idea about what you might do about it, which isn't my idea. It's not my idea. It's an old idea. It's far older than Christianity. It's the oldest story of mankind. It's old. Get yourself together. Transcend your suffering. See if you can be some kind of hero. Get yourself together. Transcend your suffering. See if you can be some kind of hero.
Get yourself together.
Transcend your suffering. See if you can be some kind of hero. Make the suffering in the world less. Well, that's the way forward, as far as I can tell. If there is any way forward. And that's what it looks like to me. So, that's it.
Meaningwave Autonomous Zone, make some noise for yourself. All them wave emojis right now. All them wave emojis right now. Yo. This is Meaningwave Live. We're here every day. Actually, we're here every day. At 7 a.m. CT on Twitch and 7 p.m. CT here on YouTube. We are literally here every day and have been ever since Tom Hanks came to town with his filthy ass bag of filth. Back in March of 2020, it feels like a long, long, long time ago. It feels like a lifetime ago, but we remain! So many stumbled, so many fell, yet we stood tall. We stood up straight, shoulders back, proud, resilient and strong. There is a crack in everything. That is how the light gets in. Another brave Canadian told us that. Shouts out to all the brave Canadians. Shouts out to all the brave citizens in the Meaningwave Autonomous Zone. Shouts out to you. Shouts out to your mother and your father and their mother and their father and all those mothers and fathers going all the way back to a man like Adam and woman like Eve. And of course, a very special shout out to Dr. Peterson and his family. Without whom, so much. Without whom, so much. Let the lights are on, it's a miracle. It's unbelievable, it's a miracle. Look, the lights are on, it's a miracle. It's unbelievable. Look, the lights are on, it's a miracle. It's unbelievable, it's a miracle. Look, the lights are on, it's a miracle. It's unbelievable. Thank you for being here tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. Same Dawn time, same Dawn channel. Go back the Indiegogo campaign. This will be your last chance to get that vinyl. We got 6 days left. It's going to be 5 tomorrow. If you don't want vinyl and you just really want us to get an orchestra on another song and you want to get the rest of the Jbpwave mixes turned into albums, you can click the Back Now button and you can make a contribution to the campaign. This will be running until I believe it's Sunday. I think Sunday's the last day. I've really got to check. It might be Saturday or it might be Monday, and I really should know. It's difficult to know. But what we do know is, as time of writing, let me do a refresh on that and just check it. Hasn't updated the days. 6 days left, 6, to back your campaign and get your vinyl. People have been asking me for Jbpwave vinyl since we started doing this. But now we're making it happen. But it is part of this campaign and is not outside of it for now. Because this is how we can fund it right now. Vinyl is an expensive business, and we are but this humble community, humble but ever growing thanks to you. So once again, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time. And thank you for sharing your light with the world. We'll be back tomorrow. God bless. And bye 5. 3, 2, 1, bye. By five, baby, by five.